Hi guys, what's going on?
Hey man, how are you?
How are you?
It's good to be here. I've been enjoying the show so far. It's been a lot of fun. I won't ask any spoiler questions because I got like one or two left, and so I haven't finished yet. So I'm gonna get into that this weekend. But I just want to know right up top: is it possible the Footloose dance is the greatest thing you've ever filmed in either of your careers? Because that was amazing.
I think definitely the result of it.
Yeah.
What's come out of it is definitely one of the finest sequences in all television and film. Certainly.
Certainly one of the most unique.
Yeah, I agree. Because I was like, as soon as it kicked on, I was like, this is the best thing that I've ever seen. I love this. I actually got to watch. I met Kenny Loggins like a couple of weeks ago at the Top Gun junket in San Diego, and it was awesome. So being able to watch you recreate that Footloose dance was awesome. Tom, this number right here that you do, is that easy to do with a prosthetic bodysuit on?
Yeah, it is actually. It's it doesn't take too much of a challenge, but that was such a random move that I came up with when we were just trying to think of. I was trying to think of new moves in the first season for that first dance sequence we ever did. And that came from a night out with mates where I saw this girl trying to get it on with this rugby player. And it was like some kind of weird mating dance that she did in front of him. And me and my friends all remember that dance that she did. So I just threw it in there. So when my buddies saw it on the show, they thought it was hilarious.
I loved it. The fact that you call it a mating dance too is even better for me. I love that. So there are a lot of unique superpowers on the show, especially when you compare it to like other comic book properties. And now with the Sparrow Academy, which superpower on the show do you think is the coolest? Like, I wish I could have that power.
I mean, Ben's want to be quite good for shoplifting.
Yeah.
I was a good shoplifter as a kid.
Were you?
Yeah.
I'm still a good shoplifter. I mean, not like little stuff like chapstick or something, things I forget to pay for.
Chocolate bars and that.
Oh, yeah. In the UK, they have the self-checkout. I think they have it here now, the self-checkout thing. Some of the stores are, I have to say, being the good boy that I am, I've never done it, but you could easily get away with just walking out and just pretending to leap through self-checkout.
In London, I don't know how secure they are, but now there's supermarkets with absolutely no checkout.
What?
You see them? There's one in Dalston.
How does that work?
Amazon supermarket.
How do you pay?
Just pick up the stuff and walk out the door. I don't know how it works.
Wow.
It's mad.
I've never heard of that.
Paying. Like you ordered it and then you go in and just pick it out.
Yeah, I'm not, to be honest, I don't know how.
That's trusting.
But it's a reality in Dalston, London.
Also, I got to say, Robert, your physical comedy in this is top notch. When you get punched and go over the table, that was just quality work.
Yeah, that was all me as well.
Yeah. I know. I was like, that's solid. There's also this montage of you getting hit by cars and buses. How did that experience compare to your other stunt work on the series?
Other stunt work. I'm very fortunate on this series that when 99% of the stunts are happening, I'm either at home or sitting in my trailer stroking my cockatoo. Sorry, I couldn't help it. But yeah, the montage of me getting thwacked over and over by cars and buses and stuff, it was good fun in that we were all laughing about the thing we were making, but it was also a long day with an endless wind hitting us and really, really flat Ontario farmland with loads of lying down next to loads of gigantic exhausts of trucks going, right, another take. So logistically, it was quite complicated and a pain in the arse. But it was good fun though as well. It was a good laugh. It's just weird conditions.
Awesome. Well, I also want to say that you have a very lovely cockatoo, and I didn't want to bring that up because I thought we would get off on a tangent. But is it he or she? She's lovely.
It's a she.
She is lovely. Sharka. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day. Hello, guys. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
I love its background.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is some cool stuff. I got Flash Gordon's signature right here, and Todd McFarlane over here, all kinds of cool stuff back here. This is just a whole life's worth of hoarding. So Aidan, first off, minor spoiler alert. I will release this post launch, but can I just say thank you for the Footloose dance?
You're welcome, I guess.
It was so good. Was that the best thing you've ever done in your entire career? Because it was the best thing I've ever seen.
It's maybe the hardest. We rehearsed for, man, I wish you were in it too, because that was like so much fun as a sequence. It took like at least 2 weeks while we were still in quarantine over Zoom to get the dance sequence started and to learn the moves, and then countless hours of breathing heavily through thick masks because it was the pandemic, while trying to learn these moves in a studio. And I think there may even be some behind the scenes footage of all that will be coming out. So we'll get to see it all. If that's your favorite sequence, you're gonna have a good time.
It's so well. I'm a huge Kenny Loggins guy. I'm old. I don't know if you can tell. I'm quite old, and I'm a big fan of Kenny Loggins. So as soon as that kicked on, I was like, I was right there with you. You know what I mean? Anyway, so, there are a lot of unique superpowers on the show. It's one of my favorite things about the show, especially compared to other comic book properties. Now, with the addition of the Sparrow Academy, which superpower on the show do you guys think is just the coolest?
I still think my own.
When I was thinking about this question myself, I was like, Lila's powers are pretty cool. The only thing that gets me hung up on yours is that, like, if there were no other superheroes around, and then I was like, well, then you can't really, what can you do? I don't know if you can do anything with it.
Oh, yeah.
My brain just thinks,
now.
I'm sorry. I
have this power. No, I think it is a really great power. Yours is really good too.
What? Just the jumping around and stuff?
No, the whole feel.
Yeah.
That's how he blinks.
That's how I do it in real life. I just do that.
It's actually really funny watching it on set.
Well,
it's you have to just go like this.
I get totally pretend about it because everyone's there to sort of do the scene, so they cheer me on. So okay, like hold, and then I get to like pretend like I'm walking through space time and do the other side. It's very fun.
It's fun because I get to copy that too. Also, I get all the variety of copying everyone's stuff.
Yeah, we worked for like an hour to try and sort of get in the same space to do that briefcase.
Yeah, you can't really tell how much we worked on that for that scene, but we had like choreographed this whole thing when we're like blinking together with the briefcase. Maybe if you looked at it now, you might be like, oh, I can see there's something.
Yeah.
Take a stethoscope.
I'll rewatch it just for that.
Thank you.
Like, that's the spot right there. So also another one of my favorite things about the show, just the soundtrack's amazing. So if you guys had to pick one, like what's your favorite needle drop out of the 3 seasons?
Man, that's tough. I like Cinnamon. I thought I love the way that, I think it's just perfect for an action sequence. So I love when that popped up in season 1. That's way back.
I loved it when they played Backstreet Boys. But then I also loved Billie Eilish, and I also loved Golden Brown. I just think the music is pretty fun.
Yeah, it is. This season. This I don't know. Again, minor spoiler alert, but this season the Higher Love cover, so good. I was like, that's an amazing cover, and I didn't know. I just talked to Steve, and he told me that that's actually Steve Winwood and his daughter singing that. So I was like, that's amazing. But yeah, those are Backstreet Boys. You can't ever go wrong with Backstreet Boys.
You can't go wrong with Backstreet Boys.
They're back, all right? Come on.
They're back.
Yeah, that's all right. I saw them in concert with NSYNC, or not NSYNC, New Kids on the Block. And it was like one of the greatest nights of my life. So wow. Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. So, real quick, can you guys talk a little bit about the evolution of your characters' dynamic now that the stakes are bigger than ever and you guys get to work together again?
No.
That's the answer I wanted, actually. That was what I was going for. I was like, I don't need anything.
Sometimes he doesn't want to answer questions.
Yeah, get off my back, man.
Sometimes he just gets like
That's fair.
Evolution of characters. Right?
Evolution of characters.
We soften up as characters. Like we sort of...
Speak for yourself.
Since season 2, though, I think we've come a long way. The end of the world brings people together.
Yeah, and time.
Yeah. And also like just the effort of the day, just like, enough of this. Let's just, come on. Let's get over this rivalry, man.
I get it. There's nothing like an impending apocalypse to turn you into best friends. So guys, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Great.
Hey, Chris.
Hi. It's nice to meet all of you. So, minor spoiler alert: we're going to release this post-launch, but I need to know: was the Footloose dance the best thing that you guys have ever done in your career? Because that's the best thing I've ever seen.
Well, Chris, just so you know, that whole scene was improvised.
Wow, that makes it so much more impressive.
Don't believe a word he says. Don't believe a word he says.
No,
I legit would have been like just blown away if that was true.
Take this over,
The
Eddie.
opposite of that. It took about 2 months, 2.5 months of like planning and rehearsals and organizing to make that work. But I do think that was for sure a highlight for all of us, I think, of being on this show. I think it was so wild and ridiculous and outrageous. And but a lot of it was, you know, the dance itself was definitely choreographed, but there's all the little vignettes and stuff. All of that was just like us having fun on the day, messing around and you know, Jeremy just shouting random scenarios at us and us just, you know, taking it and running. So
no, it was incredible. I have to preview a lot of shows for these interviews, right? And I was settling in and I was like, okay, you got to strap in, watch another show. And as soon as it kicked on, I was like, I love this. This is the best. So thank you for that. Guys, there are a lot of unique superpowers on the show. It's one of the things that I really like about Umbrella Academy, especially like, connect like in comparison to other comic book properties. And now that we've got the Sparrow Academy there's even more unique superpowers. So which superpower on the show do you think is just the coolest?
Jamie's. I'm just going to throw it out there now.
ooh.
Yeah. Just the fact that, I mean, in terms of creativeness, that you can spit and you can see into their like deepest dreams, like the subconscious of things. I'm like, whoever came up with that idea, if it's probably Steve, I was like, that's a great power.
Right.
I don't know how useful it'll be, but in terms of creativeness, I think that's
right. What do you guys think? What's your favorite?
I've grown fond of my own. I've grown fond of the
Oh, you like the tenties.
Yeah, so probably keep the tenties with me.
I think I always answer the same. I still stand by Allison's powers. I think it's the most. I would say Lila, but the caveat is that she has to actually be by someone who has powers.
I said that exact same thing to her. I was like, I really like Lila's powers, but if there's no superpowered people around, then it's kind of useless.
Yeah. So I think I like Allison's. I think there's a lot of good that can be done with that if done responsibly.
Good one.
So Justin, you're playing a different version of Ben, and you have a lot of scenes with the Sparrows rather than the Umbrellas. It's not every day that actors have a chance to play like a drastically different version of the same character. So tell me a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I've been saying it. It felt like filming a different show. I mean, I was playing a very different version of this character. I also, as you said, filmed most of my scenes with an almost entirely new cast. So it felt like a brand new experience. And I'm just so lucky and grateful that the Sparrow Academy sort of came immediately in and enmeshed so well in our show, and it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. And then obviously to finally have some scenes with these guys who I've known for the last 2 seasons but haven't had the chance to have any scenes with was a lot of fun.
Nice. One last quick question for you all. What's your favorite needle drop from the past 3 seasons?
Oh my God, we're back again.
I knew she was.
You can't go wrong with Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. What do you got?
It's cliche, but I think we're alone now. Like that song is our show. You know, it's so.
Yeah. Whenever I'm bowling, I just think of and that song comes up. I just think of.
I know. I hear it everywhere. And it makes me think of the show every time I like in a Walgreens or at Whole Foods or
Or if it were my family and that song comes up, they just look at me like, "Hey, dance!" And I'm like, "Stop!" I'm not.
I feel like in 20 years when we hear it, we'll just sob.
Yeah, really. It's just a sad story.
Just a Pavlovian response.
Exactly.
Because we'll still be making the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zing.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, remember when
Awesome.
we were
Guys,
all in our
I don't want to take up any more of your time, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. You guys are awesome. Thanks,
Chris.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, Steve. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hi.
Hi. Minor spoiler alert. Very minor, I think, but I have to tell you first off, and we'll release this post-launch, but can I just say thank you for that? Can I say thank you for that Footloose scene? I
loved it too. It was so much fun to do.
When you guys were filming, did you get to partake in any of that Kenny Loggins action?
I didn't, in the sense that I didn't have to rehearse it, but it was, a very big deal to get it right. We didn't use any dance doubles, and we were in the height of COVID, and those actors worked through Zoom. The first rehearsals, they had their laptops open. They're standing 10 feet away. Then they went into a studio with masks and shields. And we finally got onto set, and it was wonderful because, we're all in a bit of a dark place with COVID. And then doing that dance, the laughter was there. The crew got buoyed. Like, it was just 5 amazing days of just joy on set.
Wow, 5 days too. I would have never imagined it would have taken 5 days to film that. But as soon as it kicked on, I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is so much fun. I loved it." Has there ever been a song that you wanted that you couldn't get, or has the popularity of the show headed into the 3rd season made it easier?
Oh, there's many songs I want to put in I can't get, either because they're so expensive it would cut like half of our entire music budget, or the artists themselves don't want the songs used. There's many artists now that just won't let their songs be released. Mm-hmm. I feel very fortunate, like even last year, I was able to get Adele to let us use the Swedish version of Hello, but I had to write her a letter because she said no initially. And I had to say that the young woman who's singing it was in a small town in Sweden, and it was really important to her and to give her a chance. And they wrote back and said yes. So sometimes it takes a little bit of that extra personal touch to get, a song. But yes, there's been plenty of rejections.
Okay, I want to ask you this for my own personal input, but who sings the cover of Higher Love? Because that was beautiful.
I love that. I found that is Steve Winwood and his daughter singing.
Okay, that I knew it was Steve Winwood was the original, but I didn't know that was his daughter.
I'm blanking on her first name. She's a beautiful voice. That's the two of them singing his song together.
That's amazing. Yeah. I loved it when I was listening to that. So one of the big things going on with the season is the transition with Victor. So how much input did Elliot Page have on Victor's coming out storyline this season?
A ton. I mean, it was so important that Elliot was part of that storytelling. So once Elliot told me that in life he was going to make this transition, there was no pressure on me to not do it or do it, but it felt important to try to do that story. So, I went to GLAAD. I talked to Nick Adams at GLAAD, and then I went to this wonderful trans writer named Thomas McBee. And in collaboration with Elliot, we sort of worked on what that story would be and how we would do it. And it was really important to us not to make it the story of the show, which you could easily have done. We just wanted it to be a beautiful moment that was sensitive, that was real. And in a world where there's so much, anti-trans in the South, that we really wanted to tell a pro-trans story. But, it was totally collaborative right through.
Well, I thought it was exceptionally well done personally.
Thank you.
You're kind of in a place now where you're past the comic book storyline in certain spots. Was it challenging to take the Sparrow Academy and expand them beyond what we've seen so far in the books?
It wasn't challenging because, I have a great relationship with Gerard Way. He's a busy guy. He's on tour with the band right now. But he has a good sort of idea what he wants going forward. But we've also got to the place where we see the TV show and the graphic novel as being somewhat symbiotic, but on their own paths. My goal is not to take the show away from where he's going with the graphic novel, but not everything translates because of money. Sometimes it's just so weird. I don't know how we do the TV version of it, but we're close enough that, I have a good sense of where he's going, and I love to sort of use it as a springboard or the inspiration for ours. So we never want to be on our own path without
Gerard and Gabriel's influence in the show. I think they're catching up with their next volume. I don't want to tell when it's coming out, but I think, there is more material coming. And next season, if we get lucky to have the season 4, we'll get to answer some major questions that we've set up in earlier seasons.
Amazing. I can't wait. Thank you, Steve, so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Have a good day.